Welcome, ladies and gents, to everything you need to know about the upcoming Payday 2 Crimewave edition released this summer for your current gen consoles, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. As of right now, the game pre-order is 25% off digitally on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. However, most hard disk copies are also around about that price simply because they couldn't compete otherwise. Now, this pre-order contains very much so the same things that the original Payday 2 contained if you were to pre-order it. It's called the Hard Timer Loot Bag now. It was once the Career Criminal Edition, and it contains the Skull Mask, of course, the red dot weapon sight. There's an exclusive mask coming out for both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. We don't know what that is just yet. The I Love Overkill pattern, the red and black colour, which I know loads of you guys have missed out for not getting that pre-order originally, and of course some in-game cash, which really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. So if this has piqued your interest, especially if you are a owner of an Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 version of Payday, or the PC version for that matter, that you'll probably have a couple of questions. First of all, are saves transferable across platforms? No, sadly not. They've decided to not go with that. However, there is some talk that there will be some sort of cheaper way to purchase, assuming you've already bought the game on the Xbox or PlayStation. Now, what you're going to really ask yourself is, are there going to be any more content updates for the previous generation of consoles as we originally promised? Sadly, the answer to that is also no. I'm sure Overkill would love to supply them. However, as it appears, the technological issues that come with operating on a very old console, as the Xbox and PlayStation now is, I know it upsets me, to be honest, the consoles of my childhood dying off, it just hasn't got the memory for the amount of updates you've been seeing on PC, and that's the primary reason for that. I know Overkill are kicking themselves for it, and I feel like maybe their lack of research in the first place has resulted in them making demands or promises that they could not fulfill, but that's exactly what's happened. Unfortunately, the Xbox and the PlayStation 3 version are all going to be discontinued. Will continue running, I believe, the online service, but there will be no updates for them, and if you want the updates, you're going to have to either move over to PC or to these new current gen console versions. So the updates for the PlayStation and Xbox are discontinued. We can't transfer our data. What can we do? Well, what we certainly can't do is cross-platform play. That comes as absolutely no surprise to me, but slightly more surprising and slightly more disappointing. And I imagine this is just primarily because of the 60 frames per second that Overkill is reaching for, but I'm not sure of it, the overall logistics of it all. There will be no split-screen co-op, which seems disappointing, especially seeing as how co-op is the main focus of the game, especially with some new heists coming out. We've been promised an awful lot of cooperative heists that focus around your ability to work as a team, but that is sadly not going to be a feature. However, all the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 updates will come out. We have been promised that, or at least for the first couple of months. Payday 2 has been confirmed to be ran for 2 more years on PC, and I imagine that's what they're going to try to do with the next gen consoles, with much fewer hardware limitations. But things may not be as smooth sailing simply because Overkill's not as experienced with this. Updates, for example, the barbecue pack is not confirmed to be released with the base disc, and this is the problem, producing actual discs, being able to get the data onto them in time, and they've had to set a cutoff essentially, and so DLCs like that, I imagine, may launch as day one DLC, which is a shame. But when you hear what you're getting with the base game, I definitely think it's good value for money. Also, updates like the Hype Train, what we all got there, things like Bonnie and the Hot Sun Revenge Heist, I imagine they will be probably launching with the game as updates, downloads very early on into the Crimewave edition's life. Now for the all-important question, what am I going to get? Well, it's a large combination of free and paid DLCs that all reach the PC version, but most of which never quite got to the previous generation of consoles. We have Armored Transport, Gauge Weapon Pack 1 and 2, the Mod Courier Pack, the Sniper Pack, the Big Bank Heist, the Gauge Shotgun Pack and Assault Pack, Hotline Miami, Gauge Historical Pack, the Diamond Heist, Clover Character Pack, the Bomb Heist, Dragon Character Pack, the Death Wish Update, Election Day Heist, the Shadow Raid Heist, John Wick Character Pack, the Hotston Breakout Heist, Old Hotston Character Pack, the Infamy Update, Diamond Store Heist, the White Christmas Heist, and finally the Payday 2 soundtrack. Now, I have to admit there are a couple of notable exceptions, most of which I imagine are going to come anyway. Taking, for example, the Diamond Store or Go Bank. Both of these will almost certainly be on the release disc. They're simply not advertising because it's not worth it. They've already been brought to previous consoles, I believe. Go Bank especially, it's actually used in the trailer very briefly, I believe, so there's no way that's not going to be on the disc. However, another notable exception is Jacket. Now, I'm not sure whether Jacket was released after this list was released, and he may well be on the disc, or he may be, well, not. He may be a download immediately when you log on, I don't know. However, Jacket is very much so a promotional offer, so it's distinctly possible he will never come to these next generation console or current generation console update disc. I'm not positive about that, don't quote me either way, but there's no real facts or figures to say otherwise, other than maybe the fact John Wick is being released and he was very much a promotion. Oh, and one final and all-important thing I forgot to mention is, of course, the graphical fidelity within the game. We're looking at improved texture quality, obviously not better than PC, but also 1080p as we'd expect, and hopefully, not confirmed, but hopefully and suggested 60 frames per second. That is how I hope it works. I'll be kind of surprised if it doesn't. If it doesn't, it'll probably be down to some inexperience, I feel, dealing with these sort of things, but not something that could not be resolved. So that's an important step up. I'm going to be showing you some screenshots throughout this video of how good the game looks, because it does, and they've obviously picked very nice cinematic pictures with good lighting effects, but it does look good. I'd say that the comparative difference between the previous generation of consoles and this is far and away much better. So if you're used to those horrible looking clunky Xbox and PlayStation 3 graphics, this will be a huge breath of fresh air. So I think that's also a bit of an allure towards the purchase of this. But there are a couple of questions now that you guys know exactly what you're getting that I feel this brings up, and some of which I'm going to see if I can find the interview now. Overkill tried to answer. He actually talked to Eurogamer about this, and he basically talks about what's going on with this, why this exists, why they're not moving into Payday 3. Of course, there's some reference to the Walking Dead, Overkill's Walking Dead, and even future releases like Storm, which is kind of fallen off the map recently. But he does make reference to Payday 3, which is something I've talked about quite a lot. But he says the decision not to rush into it, rush off the back of the huge success we've had, the 9 million heisters we apparently have who've purchased the game, is simply to build up the community, and they feel like this is a good way of doing it. I feel like this is remunerations for many of the disappointed previous generation console players. I'd like to see the way they deal with that, the people who do have huge saves on Xbox and PlayStation and would love to get the game, but hopefully we'll get it cheaper in one way or another. I'd like to see those of you who are aware of the Dark Souls Scholar of the First Sin edition. It was a simple £11 purchase, and you got the full game, as well as your original copy of Dark Souls if you previously purchased it. That kind of thing would be excellent. I don't know how they're going to work that. I don't even know if there's even a way for them to do that, but we'll see. Overkill usually does a decent job on that kind of front, but just talking back to Payday 3, they feel it would bite them in the end. They feel like there would be no sustainability in releasing a new game so quickly. They'd rather cultivate what they've got, and that's what they're doing for the following 2 years, and I believe that is while everything else is in production. That's why Lion Game Lion exists. That's why they've got a new team on it. They're producing The Walking Dead right now, and it seems to be taking up an awful lot of their resources. So this is the in-between step that I hope will cultivate a strong community. A couple of questions from me to you. Are you guys excited for this? I personally am. I can't wait to try it out, see exactly what they've fixed. I found the controls to be really clunky. I don't know whether they've done a good job with fixing that, but I'm excited just to see exactly what Overkill have done, exactly how well they're maturing as an overall game developer, as opposed to just one focusing on the PC game platform, because that's clearly where they have shone. And then finally, guys, who's going to pick this up, and what have you done before if you're going to pick this up? Are you new to the game series overall? Did you play Payday the Heist and skip Payday 2? Are you a previous generation console player? Are you even a PC player who's interested to see what they've done? on the console side of things? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you all in the next one.